Hello everybody, this is Mr. Ainsworth and I'm going to go over drill number 1 here, fraction basics and integers. I want to show you some traditional and non-traditional techniques to hopefully give you a new way of doing things that hopefully is easier and faster. So have an open mind because I'm going to show you some new things because like I said, I'm going to show you some non-traditional techniques that you've never learned probably in school. Okay, for example this one here. A lot of people have difficulty with fractions, so I suggest the following way here that doesn't deal with any common denominators at all. I suggest you take 12 minus 3 minus 1/6. The most common mistake that people make is that they just subtract the 3 from 12 and they say the answer is 9 and 1/6, which it is not. Okay? You have to subtract the 1/6 as well. So from left to right, that's how we do our mathematics here. We get 9, 12 minus 3 is 9, minus 1/6. And if you take 1/6 away from 9, you can't have 9 anymore. You can have something under 9, like 8. And some fraction. And then what I want you to do is think pizza. Okay, if you take a pizza, divide it into 6 equal slices, look at the denominator here, and you take away or eat one slice out of 6, or eat one part, or take away one part out of 6, then 5 parts out of 6 remain. Notice how I step it down, top down, step it out. In fact, since you've known me, everybody, I've probably said that every day since you've known me since the beginning of school. Step it out. Top down, step by step. 12 minus 3 is 9. You still have to take away the 1/6, so keep the minus sign there. 9 minus 1/6 has to be under 9, so you put it down 8. Decrease it by 1. If you subtract 1 from 6, you have 5 out of 6 remaining. So the answer is 8 and 5/6. Alright? Let me show you one more time. Let's take 19 minus 3 minus 5/7. Work from left to right. 19 minus 3 is 16. But you still have to subtract the 5/7. So your answer can't be 16. It's got to be 15 and some fraction. And if you subtract 5 from 7, you would have 2 out of 7 remaining. Okay, think simple. You take away 5 slices, or eat 5 slices out of 7 slices. Well, 2 slices remain. If you've ever had a pizza before, then you know what I'm talking about. Alright? Now this one, 7 minus 2 minus 5/11. 7 minus 2 is 5, minus 5/11. Okay? If you start off with 5 wholes and you take away something, you can't have 5 anymore. You got to have something under 5, so you put down 4. If you subtract 5 out of 11, it's 6 out of 11 remain. So the answer is 4 and 6/11. Once again, step it out, top down. When you get good at this technique, you'll just be able to go from here to the answer. And a lot of you guys are probably already there. After just a few days of using this technique in class. Okay, it makes fractions a lot easier to deal with because notice I'm not doing any fancy math here with common denominators or anything. Okay? You know, back in grade school, what you guys did was this: 19 minus 3 and 5/7. The way you did it is you borrowed 1 from 19. Okay, make that 18, and you made it 18 and 7/7. 7/7 is 1 plus 18 is 19. So you just rewrote 19 as 18 and 7/7 minus 3 and 5/7. 18 minus 3 is 15. 7/7 minus 5/7 is 2/7, and that's how you got your answer. Okay? So you can do it the old way, which is in blue, or you can do it the new way in black. Okay? It's up to you. But I suggest this right here because you don't have to worry about borrowing common denominators or anything. Simple. Like on this one here, your teachers back in grade school said change this to improper, multiply it by 5, and then get a big improper fraction, take it to the opposite side, divide, and do all that arithmetic. Well, I can tell you there's a lot faster way, and the way is to distribute. Okay, so let's write this word down. You take 5 times 3 to get 15. 5 times 1 to get 5. Okay, it's being divided by 6, so you get 5/6 here. And you're done. You multiply 5 times the whole number and 5 times the 1/6. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1/6 is 5/6. And believe it or not, it's that simple. One more time. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 1/3 is 7/3. But you have to understand that this mixed number here is actually 14 and 7/3 is actually 14 plus 7/3. So you have to keep this or change this improper fraction to a mixed number. And we know that 3 divides into 7 2 times with 1 remaining, so you get 2 and 1/3 here. So really what I have to do is I have to add 14, the whole part, with this 7/3, which is actually 2 1/3 in disguise. 14 plus 2 is 16. So my final result is 16 and 1/3. You just combine the whole parts. That's all you do. Hopefully you're going to get from here to here mentally. I just wrote this down just in the beginning just to teach the technique. Okay? Once again, 8 times 7, 56. 8 times 3, 24 fifths. So 8 times 3 fifths is 24 fifths. But you can't leave it like that. 24 fifths is 5 into 24, or 4, with 4 remaining, so 4 and 4 fifths. All right? Plus the 56 here. Adding the whole parts, what do you get? 56 and 4 is 60, and of course you got that 4 fifths hanging around. That's a whole lot faster than changing it to improper, then multiplying, and then taking it off to the side and divide. Okay? Let me tell you that. So just simply distribute, meaning multiply. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. When I say distribute, I'm talking multiply. Multiply both. 7 times 2, 7 times 1/3. 8 times 7, 8 times 3 fifths. Multiply twice and then simplify your fraction. Okay? On the next group of problems here to here, 7 through 9 here, I want you to learn the keywords, add the opposite. This comes up all the time. Okay, let's put it in red. Add the opposite. Okay? Now the opposite of, well, let's read it out here. -3 minus a -8 can be rewritten as -3 plus the opposite of -8, which is +8. Back when you first learned this, you canceled out the double negative here. Your teachers did this right here, and it became -3 plus 8. You have more positive here, so the answer is positive. All right, and if they're different sign, you subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5, so the answer is 5. So let's do that. You're going to add the opposite right here. Instead of -5 minus a -12, you're going to have -5 plus 12. You have more positive. 12 minus 5 is 7. Once again, -7 minus a -15 is -7 plus 15. You have more positive. 15 take away 7 is 8. Okay. On this problem here, we have a negative plus a negative. Now, a negative plus a negative is like a debt plus a debt, which gives you a bigger debt. So a negative plus a negative is a bigger negative. Okay, the answer is just a big negative. That's all it is, which means you got to combine the negatives. You have 3 negatives here, plus 12 more negatives. You have 15 negatives in all. So you have to add and you have to combine them. If you have a debt of 3 and then you have a debt of 12, you have a big debt of 15. It should make sense that if you owe 3 and then you owe 12, then you owe 15 in all. Okay? So a negative plus a negative is a bigger negative. -5 plus -7 is -12. -13 plus -12 is -25. Okay? That's the second group. Third group, write down add the opposite again. Because any subtraction problem can be written in addition by adding the opposite. Okay? OPP for short. So 8 plus a negative, or 8 minus -14 is 8 plus the opposite of -14, which is 14, which is 22. Teachers once again did this last year in algebra. They just canceled out the double negative. They added instead. They added the opposite there. And we're going to continue doing that. So 13 minus a -9 is 13 plus 9, or 22. 24 minus a -4 is 24 plus 4, or 28. All right. Let me show you something new on these fractions up here. When you add or subtract fractions, there's an easy way to do it, which I call the 3 product rule, which just means you multiply 3 times. Multiply 3 times. And this technique is nice because most people have a hard time changing the common denominators and dealing with these things. So I suggest this technique. You're going to multiply the left cross product first. That's going to be your step 1. Step 2 is 6 times 2. And step 3, sorry for the interruption, step 3 is right here, the third cross product. So one more time. Step 1, do the left cross product. Step 2, the right cross product. And step 3, the lower product right here. Alright, so when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking 5 times 1 is 5, minus 6 times 2, 12, divided by 6 times 5, 30. And then you subtract, 5 minus 12 is negative 7, and you get negative 7/30, and you're done. And I call it the 3 product rule. It's because we're multiplying 3 times. And it works for any subtraction or addition problem of fractions. Okay? Once more again. First step is left cross product. Second step, right cross product. Third step, the denominators here. So here I'm looking at 3 times 3 are 9, minus 7 times 2 is 14, divided by 7 times 3, 21, and I get negative 5/21. And I'm done. Now it works for addition problems too. So here's the first cross product, second cross product, third cross product, okay? 8 times 2, 16, plus 7 times 5, 35, divided by 7 times 8, 56. And 16 and 35 add up to 40 and 11, 51, 56, right there. So pretty simple if you can multiply. And most of you guys can multiply all the way up into your 12. So this should be pretty easy to learn. We call it the 3 product rule because you're combining the fractions through multiplication, believe it or not. Cool technique and really fast, and it works for all fractions, even including variables, believe it or not. Okay? I use it in calculus all the time. Okay, next techniques, change to improper. Okay, what you're going to do here is you're going to multiply first, all right, and then you're going to add the numerator. 5 times 9 is 45, plus the 2, divided by 5, gives you 47/5. 7 times 3, 21, plus the 2, divided by 3, gives you 23/3. 8 times 5 is 40, plus the 3, divided by 8, 43/8. Okay? Typically the first step is not written out, it's done mentally. Alright, and you're going to go from here to here. Changing to mixed form. Okay? Take 32 divided by 5. Okay? Divide it 6 times. Remainder 2. Now hopefully you do this mentally here. I'm showing it, but hopefully you can do this mentally right here. 6 2/5. Take the quotient and take the remainder. This is the remainder now. Okay, over the divisor. This is called the divisor. So 6 2/5. 7 divides into 22 3 times. 3 times 7, 21. So we're 1 short, or remainder 1. So 3 1/7. 8 divides into 13 1 time. 8 from 13 is 5, so 1 5/8. Alright? So you want to change to mixed. And the last technique is multiplying whole numbers and fractions. And the fastest way is to divide then multiply. Okay? Divide first. Okay? Then multiply. So let's write down the steps here. Okay, now you could take 3 times 25 and divide it by 5. Or you can take 25, watch this, divided by 5 to get 5, times 3 to get 15. Second one, you can take 42 times 2 is 84 and divide that by 7. Or a faster way, divide first to get 6, times 2 to get 12. What's faster, 3 times 8 divided by 8, 3 times 24 divided by 8? Or is it faster to divide 24 by 8 first to get 3 and then multiply by 3? I don't know about you, but dividing happens to be a whole lot faster. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 3 times 3, 9. Okay? Simple. Last thing I want you to check out are your perfect squares. And you probably know the first 12 or 13. So let's go ahead and get started here. We got 1 squared is 1, 2 squared 4, 3 squared 9, 4 squared 16, Okay, all you do is square the counting numbers. That's all you do. Square the counting numbers. So 4 squared 16, 5 squared 25, 6 squared, 6 times 6 36, 7 squared 49, 8 squared 64, 9 squared 81, 10 squared 100. That's your first 10 of them. Okay, 11 squared 121, 12 squared 144, and now it gets interesting, okay? The next, 13 squared is 169. This is 13 squared. 14 squared is 196. If you don't know this, multiply it on the side. 15 squared, 225. 16 squared, 256. 17 squared, 289. 18 squared. Now 18 squared is 18 times 18, which you have to multiply the 8s to get 64, so this number ends in a 4, or 324. 19 squared is 19 times 19. So you have to multiply the 9s to get 81, so it ends in 1, so 361. And then 20 squared is 400. And the list goes on and on. Alright? Memorize these through practice. Okay? Alright. That's it on drill number 1. Practice. Get good. I'll see you tomorrow.